Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful day for a 2023 fantasy football draft. I don't want to waste your time. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into the poodle. What is crazy is Underdog just launched this yesterday, right? They launched it yesterday, and we have almost 20,000 entrants already into this draft contest. So maybe we're only going to be able to get in here for a day or two, and then we're going to be back to Best Ball Mania. But this is going to be a $7 buy-in, $150,000 prize pool, $30,000 for first place. But, you know, yours truly is going to be taken first. So instead, I mean, y'all can go through and y'all can battle it out for the $15,000 second place, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and let's hop in here. Hopefully I'm not with too many of you sickos, but there are 10 spots open in this draft room right now. So honestly, we're probably going to be with a bunch of y'all, and this is going to be difficult. Yep, you see that fill up almost immediately. And yeah, Tanner out here reminded us to ask you and beg you, go down there, drop a like on this live stream if you have not done so already. And of course, if you want to get in the next draft with us, make sure you go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. That's where we're drafting. That's where you can find these massive best ball tournaments. Best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the season. That's how I drafted over 700 teams last year. Won $150,000 last year on Underdog Fantasy. Won multiple high stakes tournaments. And when you sign up with promo code FLOCK, you are going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So it's pretty much free to check out. And on top of that, you will get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. You get a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And if you're a member of both flockfantasy.com as well as Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, may or may not have some exclusive merch coming your way very soon. On top of that, some extra site credit. But let's go ahead. Luke says he's going to be at the 1 spot. Hector, the first draft with us at 7. Niners collection at 2. We got Patrick at 12. Oh, dear God. Aiden always out here exactly where we are. Love to see it, my friend. Oh, help him. This is embarrassing. This is truly embarrassing. Y'all may have to give me a second to grab the blazer. Come on. Y'all can't let me look like this. This is way too unprofessional. I'll be back in half a second. Please, for the love of God, do not show this to my boss. If my boss saw that, I'm telling you, we'd be done for. We'd be done for. Cameron coming out says expectations for Calvin Ridley. Thank you, my man, for coming to the live stream. With Ridley, I mean, he definitely has low and wide receiver 1 upside, but honestly, he's kind of being drafted there right now. He's being drafted at the late 3rd round. So honestly, it is a little difficult for us to go through and draft Calvin Ridley in a lot of these leagues. Maybe we end up getting Calvin Ridley at the 3-4 turn based off of where we are looking at in drafts right now. I'm going to go to Vontae Adams. Trust me, I would love to grab Bijan Robinson, but y'all know, I mean, we're just going to have to go through. We're going to have to grab a wide receiver early. That way we can take advantage of the running back value that we have a little later on. Eckler goes before Bijan Robinson here. You never see that in these underdog drafts. But, okay, let's see. Tanner says, guaranteed to draft 20% better when you're wearing a blazer. I don't write the rules. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the $100,000 draft tournament, the big dog tournament we won on Underdog last year, come on. I was wearing a blazer when we drafted that. Now, I don't know exactly which blazer it was. I don't know if it was this one, the blue one, but hell, considering the limited number that we have, pretty good shot it was this one. All right, now let's swing this back around, see what we're going to be looking at. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown off the board. So we're going to get Garrett Wilson. I mean, very rarely are you having Garrett Wilson fall this far. I have been taking Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler over Garrett Wilson, so I haven't drafted him in a lot of leagues. I mean, you'll see us in ADP at 14. We're getting him here at 16. I'm just trying to grab these wide receivers early because I know there are going to be running backs that we like in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. We'll have a lot of running backs that we like. Gucci Broomstick coming out says, just traded Sutton, Pittman, and the 104 for CeeDee Lamb in a 1 quarterback start 8. Was that an overpay or a solid value? Okay, first off, my man, thank you so much for coming out. Second off, if we're looking at a 1 quarterback start 8 league, you are highly incentivized to go through and just get the highest ceiling possible. Start 8, we are going studs and duds. Depth will not matter that much. You know, Cortland Sutton really has no value in my mind. Not only does Cortland Sutton have no value in my mind, but I mean, if we're trading like Pittman and Jordan Addison for CeeDee Lamb in a 1 quarterback start 8 league, I'm all about it, my friend. I'm all about it. Kate asking for some Blazer merch. I should go ahead and get some Blazer merch going. But one thing that I actually do need to show y'all real quick is the Flock merch that we have. I just want to make sure there's nobody that reaches out to me next week that says that they missed this. I want to make sure everybody has the chance to go through and claim their free Flock shirt. All you have to do, go to the Discord. If you are a member of both flockfantasy.com and Underdog Fantasy, go ahead and fill this out. Just give me your email. Take a couple minutes to look at that beautiful picture. Then from there, say, yes, I'm a member of flockfantasy.com. Here's my flockfantasy.com email address. Yes, I use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. Here's my Underdog Fantasy email address. This is the size shirt I am, and here is my address. Get me all that info, and I'll be happy to go through and send you some free Flock Fantasy merch. But fair warning, you should probably carry around pepper spray if you are wearing Flock Fantasy merch, because the ladies will go crazy. Like, it's not a good situation if you don't have pepper spray on you. I'll tell you that much. I've learned that the hard way. But DK Metcalf going off the board here, pick 27, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith. So, I mean, there's not too much craziness that you're looking at in this draft. I mean, really not too much to point out. Okay, Henry goes 29. I know a lot of people are probably going to freak out that Derrick Henry falls this far. And Derrick Henry, surprisingly, is actually one of my most drafted running backs this year because, yeah, he is going round 3, but this is kind of where he usually goes. I mean, in these drafts. Okay, so let's swing this back around. ETN off the board. Y'all know Travis Etienne is someone that we're generally trying to grab if we can. Christian took Jalen Hurts round 1 to pair up with A.J. Brown, so I'd assume Christian's not taking Lamar Jackson here. Michael says, have to carry 2 pepper sprays while wearing my Flock hat in public. I understand, my brother. Oh, my man, 2 pepper spray. I mean, I'm a little risky. I have 1 pepper spray and then a large stick. And that's how I keep myself safe when I'm wearing the Flock Fantasy merch. But, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe the ladies just go a little bit crazier when they see you than me, my man. But Nicholas coming out with the donation, thank you, says, 10-team super flex. We have picked 2, 3, 4, and 6. I'm in between going Richardson, Stroud, or Richardson and Young. My only other quarterback is Lance. I'd definitely go with Young and Richardson. And then honestly, you may have Stroud making it to you at pick 6. And a 10-team super flex format, I mean, we've seen time and time again that people are going through and people are devaluing those quarterbacks just because there'll be a lot of people in your league that have 3 to 4 starters already. Okay. So, yeah, we take Lamar Jackson at 33. I mean, we had a question about Calvin Ridley earlier on. You'll see Calvin Ridley go a lot here. But in reality, I think if we're going to be looking at the wide receivers we'll have access to in rounds 5 and 6 and maybe even 7, I'd be a little bit more worried about the drop-off at quarterback than wide receiver. And we'll take Najee Harris. I mean, super simple. There's not too much to this draft so far. Like I said, you definitely want to be grabbing wide receiver in my mind in rounds 1 and 2. That way we can kind of avoid the wide receivers here at the 3-4 turn, because in my mind, if we're going to be looking at guys like Amari, Debo, Ridley, Hopkins, Christian Watson, I definitely do prefer Lamar Jackson and Najee Harris over those players. So that's why I'm willing to go through and pass on like Bijan Robinson for Devontae Adams. That's why I'm willing to go ahead and pass on Nick Chubb for Garrett Wilson. That way we're able to take advantage of this running back and quarterback value here. But Michael going out there says, everyone smash that like button. Yes, if you have not done so already, please go down there and hit the like button on this live stream. Now, Jerry Jeudy goes 43. Keenan Allen off the board 44. Big Mike says, don't be scared to draft Kenneth Walker. He's a beast. Yeah, like I said, my friend, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it the other day. Kenneth Walker was my second most drafted running back in underdog drafts last year. I mean, one of the reasons we won $150,000, we drafted a lot of Kenneth Walker. Our most drafted guy, obviously, Josh Jacobs. But the issue is, last year we were getting Kenneth Walker in round 9 when his backfield mate was the most injury-prone running back in football in Rashad Penny. And now we're having to draft him round 4, round 5, whenever he has a second-round Zach Charbonnet going in his own backfield. So Personally, I really haven't drafted much Kenneth Walker at all. To be honest with you, I've been avoiding Kenneth Walker with where he's going. But I mean, now you're seeing him fall more and more to the 5th round. Like previously, over the past month, you never had Kenneth Walker in the 5th round. So if he continues to fall down these draft boards, maybe at some point we'll start drafting him. Yeah, Miles Sanders going this early. I mean, you had Miles Sanders getting drafted this early a while ago. But I mean, it seems like over the past 2 to 3 weeks, Miles Sanders more a late 5th, early 6th round pick. So interesting to see him go here at 49. Terry McLaurin, TJ Hawkinson off the board. Very interesting team at 3 that has Tyreek, Metcalf, Moore at wide receiver, has Mahomes and Hawkinson quarterback tight end. So going to be interested to follow that team around. Okay. Let's swing this back around. And like I said, if you're new to Underdog drafts, you're going to have a very difficult time finding wide receiver value that you like later on. You just got to trust me on this one. Wide receivers in rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond. Extremely difficult to find with this being a best ball format and with this being obviously a league. You have to start 3 wide receivers. Can I get some feedback? I know 99% of people watching this have been playing on Underdog for like the past 2 years now with us. If you've signed up for Underdog over the past like 2 weeks and hopped in some drafts, what has been your overall like takeaway? Like, are you having fun in these drafts? Kenneth Walker going off the board at 55, but please let me know in the live chat. If you've signed up recently to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, like what has your experience been like? We'll probably go ahead and take Chris Godwin here. No, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba. We're going to mix it up. I think we'll be able to find running back value later on. If we go JSN, I'll be good. Zach says, just signed up yesterday. Have you had a chance to get in a draft, my friend? Are you in this draft with us? Jeff says he's loving the drafts. Tanner says, it's too addicting. You've ruined my life. I draft for all sports now too. Yeah, I've been able to stay away from like the Underdog basketball drafts, the Underdog hockey drafts, the Underdog golf drafts. I've mainly been able to stick with football. Jeff says, signed up last month with promo code FLOCK. I've done like 30 drafts since. Matteo says, Underdog noob, but have drafted 8 teams. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I heard back from y'all and seeing if y'all were having a good time or not. I mean, everybody that I talk to loves Underdog. There's a reason that they're our sponsor. But a Gucci Broomstick coming out again says, hey, Mason, yesterday I was able to stack Kelsey and Mahomes in the 3rd round, and we were able to get Higgins in the 2nd. Very interesting, my man. Okay, Kyle Pitts goes, so we will go ahead. We'll take J.K. Dobbins. I mean, obviously we have Lamar, so maybe we want to go through and make a bet that the Baltimore Ravens offense is much better than people are expecting, blah, blah, blah. In reality, Dobbins is some serious value here. And if we were looking at what the teams did on the turn, I was confident that we were going to be able to find a running back that we liked on the way back around, whether that was Dobbins, Mixon, or Dameon Pierce. And that's the main reason we took Jackson Smith and Jigba at pick 57. 42 is the lock. Says, what is your promo code for Underdog? I'm assuming you're trolling me, my friend, but I will take every opportunity I have to be able to say this. If you have not done so already, go down there. Sign up for Underdog Fantasy and use promo code FLOCK. When you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match. Not only 100% deposit match up $200, but you're going to get my 2023 fantasy football rankings. You're going to get a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And on top of that, if you're a member of flockfantasy.com and Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get extra credit in your Underdog account on top of that 100% deposit match. And you're going to get exclusive Underdog and Flock merch. Okay. Now we have Lockett, Kadarius Toney going off the board. Toney is someone that I haven't really been drafting at all, and I honestly don't plan on drafting. Like, I need to make a more in-depth video with Kadarius Toney. I mean, we've talked about him a bit. He is a player that's moved up ADP quite a lot. Let me look up what we've had with the Kadarius Toney rise. Yeah, I've had Kadarius Toney drafted in 2% of my drafts. I mean, I've drafted Kadarius Toney in 2% of my leagues. Okay. Jeep Guy says, Mason, have you ever seen Bijan make it to 12 before? Honestly, not since the NFL draft. I have not, and love the new profile pic, by the way, my man. Shiva says, should your strategy for a keeper league be similar to Dynasty? It depends. If you're keeping 13 or more players, or maybe like 12 or more players, then yes. I think the majority of people who play in keeper leagues, however, honestly do a bad job of understanding their keeper decisions. If you're playing in like a keeper league where you keep maybe like, say, 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 players, there honestly should just kind of treat it as a redraft league. Like I'll see a lot of people keeping like 2 guys and then all of a sudden they have to think that they're looking 5 years out. In reality, if you're keeping a limited number of players, you just want to go ahead and you just want to get in as many points into your starting lineup this next year. Okay, so we have Cam Akers going off the board. I think we have a very balanced team. Like it's not like we're sitting here, sorry about that, having to try to figure out what we want on the way back around. I mean, I'm kind of fine with whatever falls to us. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson. Running back, we have Najee and Dobbins. So yeah, we have some correlation between Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins here. Obviously, it's not like what you're usually looking for. I mean, but it is what it is. Okay, let's swing this back around. Okay. So Deshaun Watson is someone that I take a decent amount just because you can get David Njoku, you can get Elijah Moore a little later on. If we were to look for Deshaun Watson, I probably don't take him 81. I maybe try to get him in the 8th round, depending on what's available in the 7th for us. Andrew says, are you doing another draft after this? If so, where can I watch /draft? Yeah, so we do a draft every single day on this live stream on Underdog Fantasy. And it's on Underdog, link in the live chat, sign up, promo code FLOCK. You've already heard me say it a million times. We'll go ahead. We'll take Darren Waller. Darren Waller is falling down drafts more and more. He used to go at like the 6-7 turn. Now you're seeing him go closer to the 7-8 turn. I mean, it keeps us balanced. We can look to add in Daniel Jones later on if we really wanted to. And I already have so much Alexander Madison. Madison's my most drafted running back. But yeah, if y'all want another draft after this one on this live stream, just drop a like on it. If we hit 350 likes in the stream, we will fire up another draft today. If not, we are literally drafting every single day until the season gets here. And then once we get closer to the season, we're going to be doing like 4 or 5 of these drafts a day. Like we're drafting probably over 700 teams in the live stream again. Alexander Madison off the board at 84. Brandon Cooks goes 85. Cooks isn't someone that I draft very often. Like in general, I've been avoiding Brandon Cooks. So what I do like about grabbing Darren Waller here in the 7th round is we do give ourselves the ability to only draft 2 tight ends. We can still draft 3 if we really want, but at the same time, we have the flexibility to only draft 2. Very similar to like Lamar Jackson. You know, it's just going to depend on when we take our 2nd tight end, when we take our 2nd quarterback. Zay Flowers goes. Zay Flowers was most likely going to be our selection if... do we want Quentin Johnston or Javonte? Javonte is so much of a better option, but the thing is, if we look at the wide receivers that will be available to us compared to the running backs that will be available to us in the 9th round, even if I think Javonte Williams is so much better in a vacuum, I feel like we kind of have to go through and take Quentin Johnston here just with how the tier breaks are. Like after Quentin Johnston, you see Sutton, Bateman, Jameson, Elijah Moore. And then if we're going to be looking at the quarterbacks, if we're going to be looking at the tight ends, if we're going to be looking at the running backs, I'm going to be fine with those guys. And I know we talk a lot about stacking. We talk about building correlation in our starting lineup quite a bit. To be honest with you, Lamar Jackson isn't necessarily a player that I feel like we have to build correlation in. We talk about this a lot, but guys like Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson, those are going to be quarterback options that the majority of their points will come on the ground. And I'm fine seeing a few spike weeks from them where we don't even have a pass catcher. Like you can get a spike week from Lamar Jackson where he has 2 rushing touchdowns and 60 rushing yards. Okay. Now we have Michael Thomas going directly after. I probably would have taken Zay Flowers if Zay Flowers would have fallen to us though. I definitely do prefer Johnston over Flowers in a vacuum. But if we had Lamar Jackson, I'd have been fine going through and pulling the trigger on Zay, right? Bateman goes, Sutton goes, Tua goes. Richardson would have been someone we would have taken on the way back around at 105 just to get some rushing upside here. Like I said, not a big deal if we have Indianapolis Colts or not. Tua, I probably would have passed on. I mean, the issue with Tua is you really need Waddle or Tyreek to go off if Tua's going to have a massive spike week in his own right. Okay, Sutton, Juju Smith-Schuster both go. Neither player I'm too interested in drafting, which is the primary reason why we go through and take Quentin Johnston where we do. Kirk Cousins off the board, not really looking to grab Cousins. Okay. If we were to take Dak, we could get Gallup later on. We could grab Jake Ferguson at the very end. Daniel Jones obviously stacks with Darren Waller for us. Okay, let's swing this around and get a sense of everything. Okay. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Candyman goes James Cook. I would have loved having James Cook at 105. David Njoku, 101. Njoku has also been a player that I've been drafting the hell out of, mainly because I'm taking a lot of round 8 Deshaun Watson. So David Njoku round 9 is just kind of a natural pick. Okay, Odell goes. So there goes our Lamar Jackson stack. Not a big deal anyway. Do we just take Zach Charbonnet? Let's sit here and think. I think Zach Charbonnet as well as Brian Robinson represent like the last few running backs in this tier. Once you have both Charbonnet and Brian Robinson off the board, I do think you have a pretty big teardrop. I do think Zach Charbonnet is the running back 1B to Kenneth Walker's running back 1A, which is the primary reason why I haven't really been drafting much Kenneth Walker, as we've already discussed. Okay, this team has 3 running backs in Bijan, Taylor, Alexander Madison. Wide receiver, Ridley, Hopkins, Ayuk, Mike Evans, and Brandon Cooks. Very interesting team here. Jeep guys says, need 200 more likes for another draft. Hit that like button. Yes, if you have not done so already, hit that like button. So both of our main targets go off the board here in Daniel Jones, Pat Frymuth. Would have been really nice having either or fall to us to pick 112, but it is what it is. Can't always get what you want. Samaje Perine, not really someone that I'm looking to draft. Devon Achane, not really someone I'm looking to draft either. I feel like after Frymuth goes off the board, like that run of Brian Robinson, Daniel Jones, Pat Frymuth, like I do feel like you have a massive teardrop afterwards. We can take Rodgers here. He'll pair up with Garrett Wilson nicely, but at the same time, I mean, I really am not a fan of grabbing a quarterback in this range. I mean, I'll take him if they fall. F me. We could go Geno Smith, pair him up with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like Geno Smith a little bit more than I like Rodgers. Yeah, and we have Zach Charbonnet as well. So, I mean, I guess we kind of go all in on this Seattle Seahawks offense. We have Geno, we have Zach Charbonnet, we have Jackson Smith and Jigba. So if we're looking at this, I mean, we are in a spot where if the Seattle Seahawks can go out there and be like a top 5 offense in the NFL, we should be able to find a lot of success with this team. But at wide receiver, we have Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Quentin Johnston. Quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith. So we're probably done drafting QBs. Running back, we have Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet. Tight end, we have Darren Waller. I really like this team. I feel like we're strong and balanced across every position. I think what we're probably going to do is wait a decent amount until we take our next tight end and honestly end up drafting 2 tight ends. But it is what it is. Okay. Big Mike says, great team. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Now, Tyler Boyd going off the board at 115. Aaron Rodgers goes 116. Yeah, so once we take Geno, we are hoping to see some of these quarterbacks go. Let me know what y'all think between Geno Smith and Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Rodgers has the higher ADP, and Rodgers also correlates with Garrett Wilson for us. I mean, I just don't know what the real ceiling is for Aaron Rodgers, right? Because in my mind, this is a team that probably wants to run the ball. This is a team that probably plans on winning games by playing good defense. If you're looking at Aaron Rodgers here, he's going to have literally no rushing upside. Or Geno Smith could possibly get you 5 rushing touchdowns this next year. Yeah, so it's an interesting spot. Now we have a couple tight ends going off the board, Kincaid and Cole Kmet. Okay, so let's swing this back around, see what maybe we could be expecting. Adam Thielen goes 121. So yeah, we're kind of wanting to see Goff go. Obviously, I mean, we're not drafting any more quarterbacks. And on top of this, we didn't have any Detroit Lions players to stack them with in general. See if any teams before us have some Lions. We may see Goff make it to us. We wouldn't take him if he did, but yeah, I think you may not have a Goff selection until maybe pick 131. That team has St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. So yeah, I would say 131, you're definitely not getting Jared Goff past then. Okay. See, Scorp says Steelers versus Seahawks week 17 won't be that high scoring, though, compared to the Browns versus Jets. So give me Rodgers. I just think that's a horrible thought process in my mind. Like, I understand the cool thing is you got to act like week 17 is the number one thing we need to be optimizing for. But out of everything with the list of importance, trying to predict week 17 matchups and how the game environment's going to be on May 20th, it's not something I think we should focus in on. The Def Gaming coming out. Happy to see you. Thank you so much for everything. My friend says, would you do Swift and Zach Charbonnet for Jonathan Taylor in Dynasty? Hell yes. Hell yes. I would love to go ahead and get Jonathan Taylor there. I'm kind of out on DeAndre Swift. Okay. We're going to take Elijah Mitchell. I understand maybe you can sit here and say, well, Mason Sky Moore is the last tier break at wide receiver. Sky Moore has a higher ADP, blah, blah, blah. I just think Elijah Mitchell is the best player in this range. I want the best guy in this range, so we're going to take him. We're going to keep it stupid simple. Okay, Sky Moore does go 131. So Jared Goff went 130 right before we thought he was going to. So this team is yet to take a quarterback or tight end. What I just find funny about everybody talking about week 17 matchups is, keep in mind, I mean, I had like 7 teams alive in week 17 this past year. I was the only person to win multiple tournaments on Underdog this last year. The only person. And got 16th place in Best Ball Mania. I think the vast majority of people talking about week 17 correlation and matchups, they will not have any teams making it to week 17. If we're going to be honest with each other. The Def Gaming coming out again says, I have JT and my team sucks, so trying to get some younger players or picks. Okay, so you're talking about opposite. I think you can get better than, I mean, go try to get Zach Charbonnet in a 2024 first if you really want to make a move like that. I don't see why we would be trying to get DeAndre Swift into that deal. We'll take the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. What will be interesting at this point is, can we stop at 2 tight ends now? I don't know the correct answer. I'm an idiot, but if we're looking at our team, running back, we have Najee, Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell. So we're probably only going to draft 5 running backs. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Quentin Johnston. So we don't have depth at wide receiver, obviously, but I mean, we do have some top-end talent. So I don't know. I may just have a hard time pulling the trigger there. Derek Carr goes off 140. We'll see. Maybe we can just say if a tight end makes it to us at an extreme value, we can take a third tight end. We're not going to force a third tight end. It just depends what the draft board gives us. Okay. Dylan says, Mason, are you still targeting Trey Lance? Hell yes. I just recorded a video that will have our top quarterback rankings. I believe our top 24 quarterbacks and tiers coming out tomorrow. And I have Trey Lance significantly ahead of ADP. And when I say significantly ahead of ADP, I mean significantly ahead of ADP. Okay, so Tyler Higbee, Matthew Stafford off the board, 144, 145. Okay, Jalen Hyatt falling. Let me see how many drafts I've taken Jalen Hyatt in. I feel like I just have not drafted Hyatt at all. If I was ever going to do it, maybe it would make sense on a team like this where we already have a piece in that passing offense. We already have Darren Waller. So I have Hyatt in 1% of leagues. I've drafted Jalen Hyatt in one draft all offseason. At least post NFL draft. I don't know if I took him in any super early ones. Those are spaced separately. Okay, so Nico Collins going off the board, 147. Hyatt goes 148, so there goes our Hyatt pick. Would be interesting to see if Jordan Love could go before this team could take a third quarterback. They don't have any Packers. They take Chark, who we were wanting. This team has no Packers. They have Lawrence and Dak, so they're probably done taking QB. This team has Fields, Richardson, so they're probably done taking QB. They do have Romeo Doubs, though. This team has Dylan, has Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you get Jordan Love falling to us as well. We can't really go Jordan Love with our build, but Jalen Warren goes 150. That was another pick that we were looking at grabbing. This team probably goes Alec Pierce. They have Anthony Richardson. They go Tyler Algier. Interesting. Raheem Mostert off the board as well. Do we just say F it? He's the best wide receiver according to 13 picks of ADP and go ahead and take Alec Pierce here at 153? Yeah, we'll take him. I mean, it's not like we have any clear Baltimore or Seattle Seahawks players we're wanting. Jeep guy out here says, how are you planning on spending your $3 million? To be completely honest with you, and I know this sounds crappy, I do not really buy anything nice. Like, I drive the same car I've driven since, my car is 10 years old. I wouldn't even buy a new car, to be honest with you. I don't think my life would change at all. Like, I think I definitely have a lot more security, and I definitely don't think I'd work as hard. But I don't think I would go out and buy anything. Maybe I'd eat better dinners. Like, I'd go out to eat every meal. Maybe my life could change that way, but okay, what are we doing here? Do we just take Donovan Peoples-Jones, just add another wide receiver that has field stretching ability? We'll do it. Or do we want MVS? We'll draft Donovan Peoples-Jones. But let me know what y'all are thinking in the live chat. If you won $3 million on Underdog, if you won Best Ball Mania, what would you do? I definitely would take a trip, right? I think the girlfriend and I would go travel a little bit, take a trip after the season. In terms of buying anything, like, I don't think I'd buy a car. I don't know what I'd. Yeah, let me know what you would buy. Love Stars says you could buy a new suit. Is there something wrong with this, my friend? Bland says take a trip and invest it. Mike says buy a house. Jeff says do more Best Ball Mania drafts. So you better believe I'd max out Best Ball Mania next year. Michael says buy real estate, travel for a few years, 10% to the homeless, pay off my house, pay for college in full and a house, invest in the Underdog, open my own gym, invest in multifamily. Larry 2 times to start a best ball channel and then start beef. Love it. Pay off my debt and run a best ball with houses, money for life. World tour for 2 to 3 years. I like the idea of world tour for 2 to 3 years. I just feel like maybe 2 weeks in, I'd get burnt out. I don't know. I definitely would need to travel somewhere. If I was going to travel anywhere before this season started, keep in mind, I have barely been anywhere. Like if you say, have you been here, Mason? The answer is probably no. Where do you think I should go? If I'm going somewhere this summer, if the girlfriend and I are going to go somewhere, where are you telling me to go? Okay. Taysom Hill goes 169. Jeff says South Dakota, New Zealand, Spain, Tokyo. I would like to go to Tokyo. I feel like that would be cool. Greece, Florida. Just lived in Florida, my man. I've been to Florida. Mike says to Germany and watch the Dolphins-Chiefs game. Love that answer, my friend. Love that answer. Okay, so Deontay Foreman off the board, 171. So you have the Miami Dolphins running backs falling down in ADP, which honestly I think they probably should be. Okay, Dawson Knox goes 173. So there goes maybe a quote-unquote discount tight end we could have taken. Not really interested in any tight end here. Not taking Michael Mayer, 177. Okay. What can we do? Okay, so quarterback, Pickett would pair up with Najee. I think we could take Pickett maybe if he would fall a little bit further. I'm definitely not taking Pickett here. Okay, Fantasy Hector on the clock. Took Tyler Algier and Gerald Everett in the last 2 rounds. Passed on Alec Pierce, where I thought it made sense for them to go Pierce. They go Zeke. Zeke was the guy we were looking at. Rondale goes. Renfro gives us another piece of the Raiders passing offense. We'll go Renfro. So we need one more running back minimum. And then we have 2 more spots. So we can go one more running back, one more wide receiver, and then a flex for either quarterback or tight end, depending on the value. Okay. Good. Honestly, maybe we could go 6 RBs with this team if the value's there. My issue with taking Tajay Spears with this build is we have Charbonnet, we have JSN, we have Johnston. Definitely like adding a few rookies to our squad, but at the same time, to have 4 of those guys on there maybe is a little bit aggressive. Michael Mayer goes 179. Hodgins goes 180. Hodgins would have been possibly a nice piece to have alongside Darren Waller. So let's sit here and think. Fournette goes 181. I have been sneaking some Leonard Fournette in around this range. Shakir 182. Okay, what the hell am I supposed to do? Kind of want to reach on a tight end. No, we shouldn't do that. I have a reason why we shouldn't do that. Does Hardman do anything this year? Should we just take... God dang, what are we doing here? We'll go Chuba Hubbard. We'll take a running back that's in a backfield that clearly only has 2 guys. Like if Miles Sanders were to go down, not really worried about another running back taking work from Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if it's the right pick, but it's the pick that we're going to make, which feels like what we say with every single selection. Michael says hard pass on Hardman. Yeah, I haven't drafted Hardman at all. I was just thinking, okay, well, we have Garrett Wilson. Do we want to go through and add another piece of this offense? So that was the main thought process there. But real quick, if you want to get in another draft with us, make sure you go down there, drop a like in this live stream. If we hit 350 likes on the stream, we will fire up another draft after this one. And if not, I mean, we'll get into a draft tomorrow on the live stream. So if you want to draft with us, of course, Underdog Fantasy, link in the live chat. Use promo code FLOCK for a 100% deposit match and our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com as well. Okay, so Stroud, Pickett off the board, 185, 187. Hardman does eventually go. Let me see how many drafts I've taken Hardman in. I feel like I haven't drafted him at all. I've Hardman in 4% of drafts, which is honestly more than I thought. God, people are, I just pulled up my phone. People are so funny. Chicago Bears truthers are crazy. Bears fans are, can y'all let me know in the live chat, who do you think is the craziest fan base? For me, it's definitely one of two. They're in the same division. They're freaking nuts. The Chicago Bears fans and the Detroit Lions fans are crazy, crazy. Am I the only one who thinks that? But Bingo Bongos has been around for 2 years, Mason. It's been amazing seeing you build this thing. Thank you so much, my man. I really do appreciate you. Okay, so here are the answers. Raiders, I don't really meet many obnoxious Raiders fans online. Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are good. There's a reason that they should be crazy. Big Mike says he's a Bears fan. Eagles, Cowboys, Bills. Eagles or Bills. But the thing is, those are good teams. Like, you can be an obnoxious fan if your team is a real Super Bowl contender. Bills, Eagles, not even close. Saints, but in a good way. Chiefs fans are the worst. Don't the Bills fans jump through tables? Yes, they do, but still. I'm more so talking about like a fan base that whatever they do, like whatever the team does, the fans convince themselves that they're going to win the Super Bowl. They're just irrationally high on their team for no given reason. Like, I feel like the Bears and Lions fans are just freaking nuts. Like, you're allowed to be nuts if you're an Eagles fan. Robert Woods, 200. Okay, we're going to take a... I don't know if we want to grab a running back or an extra tight end, but what we do know is we want another wide receiver. We'll take Paris Campbell, not getting drafted in every single one of these. Does correlate slightly with Darren Waller as well. Okay. So, yeah. So, in terms of our correlation with this team, not a lot. We have Lamar Dobbins. We have Geno, Charbonnet, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. We have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. We have Darren Waller, Paris Campbell. Okay, if we were looking at anything, tight end here. Fant, but I mean, we already have 3 Seattle Seahawks. We don't need to go overboard there. Jelani Woods, pair up with Alec Pierce. Jeep guy says, let's be honest, Cowboys are not Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, Cowboys fans are, I'd say Cowboys fans are up there. But at least Cowboys fans have had some success, right? At least Cowboys are going to win, like be in playoff contention. I think we're going to take Jelani Woods here. I mean, this is someone that we have another Indianapolis Colts pass catcher. And on top of it, he's not being drafted in every league, so we can get a unique player there. But let me go ahead and let me show off this team. So quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson and Geno Smith. Wide receiver, we have Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Quentin Johnston, Alec Pierce, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Paris Campbell. Tight end, we have Jelani Woods, the year 2 tight end in Tennessee, Darren Waller. Running back, we have Najee, Dobbins, Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, and Chuba Hubbard. But I think that's all we have. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us here. As always, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like. And if you want to get in the next draft with us, you can find it on Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live chat, link in the description. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match. And get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial of theflockfantasy.com. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate y'all. Really hope you have a great day and really hope that we get to see you with the live stream tomorrow.